you know, as with all of us, we want you to be self-sufficient. So if we can have Dave kind of step through exactly how to create something like that, you could hopefully use that information further down the road and get really good at it.
Well, I guess we might not have to do that. Kind of after I wrote up this whole thing, you know, I kind of started to look just in our photos of the 3D photos of assemblies.
Uh-huh.
And we seem to have not gotten a lot of the assemblies.
Well, I know the photos you got actually came from my database. And
those, but those also came from a customer. Just all those images, those are just collection we've gotten over the years from customers. So not all of those would be in your database. They just gave us like, hey, here's a bunch of pictures we did in our engineering package so that we could use them as we saw fit. I've just never gone through them and honestly filtered out the ones we don't use.
So those products you don't have those pre-built?
Not every single one that has an image, no.
Could you open that email and?
Yeah, let me glance through it. Like an open upper with dividers is in there, so it's a one-door upper dividers. Base with dividers is in there. It's really easy to create those. Same with tall. I would guess the oven cabinet, pie cut, or blind corner aren't in there. Because generally speaking, we don't do corner cabinets. At least they're not in there by default because, albeit this a trend, but it just seems like a lot of people just close off the corner and don't mess with corner cabinets, but that also varies. So
yeah, I mean, most 80% of the time you do it that way, but then you got the one job that has them.
Sure.
But I mean, I guess since you're saying these are like customer created, I mean, do you have any more products that we might not have, or because it save us some time?
I mean, pretty much, like I said, anything with dividers and shelves is in there because you can create it however you want, because you can set the number of shelves as well as vertical dividers that you want on any product. So those are easy, those are the simple ones.
Let's start with that because honestly, I didn't show them that and I didn't really realize that, so I'm feeling a little dumb. We would literally take an open cabinet and just say we want 5 dividers and 4 shelves and it would create that for us.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's almost too easy. I'm feeling really stupid and I'm being recorded and admitting that. So basically we could create that cubby without any issue.
Yeah, if you...
It's just not called to open upper with dividers, right?
There's probably one in there if you go to open cabinets. Like if you go to assemblies and go down to cab, wall open, there's actually one called a cubby cabinet.
Oh, for God's sakes, you guys. Wow.
But
I should be
that... I can tell you though, if you pull that in your estimate, I created that from an open wall cabinet. I just created it and then saved it and renamed it. Because if you pull it in an open wall cabinet, an open base and an open tall works the same way. Notice on the left there, you can state the number of adjustable shelves or fixed shelves that you want. And then in the last column, the very last thing is dividers, which are just vertical dividers. So you can control how many you have of each. Because a cubby cabinet's just a generic name, which could mean about anything, really.
Well, we used to use it for drawings back in the day. We would build those, and then you put all your drawings in.
Right, same thing.
Great thing, but yeah, I didn't realize this is super cool. Well, see, I learned something.
But you can do that with any open cabinet, whether it's a base or tall. Those same attributes pretty much exist on everything other than a drawer stack, which obviously wouldn't make any sense to put those drawer in a true drawer stack. But adjustable shelves, fixed shelves, vertical dividers is pretty much an attribute on any product.
Okay.
And some people would just go with, I just want one generic kind of cabinet and be able to do what I want with it, and that's fine too. But others like the ability to, I want something that's already got preset shelves and all that and call it what you want. And you can do that too.
Okay. Now if we put this product in, could we like say manipulate the type of like shelves? Like sometimes they're polished acrylic, sometimes they're masonite, sometimes they're PLAM.
In your database, as far as manipulating the shelves independently themselves, no, because they tend to go with whatever the open
interior material is.
Yeah, they're at least by default they're tied to whatever the
He's
whatever
breaking up
that.
interior material.
Yeah, sorry.
I knew you were breaking up.
My internet, for whatever reason, lately seems to be odd.
Dave and I can answer each other's sentences.
Okay, so you'd probably just put in the cabinet with the dividers and add your different shelves with a different material.
Yeah, would you ignore the
Yeah.
shelves that are listed in there and then just pull in some acrylic?
Good. That's probably your best bet. And kind of like you said, it's just those have never been, we'll say, singled out in job spec to have different material. Not that they couldn't, just because it's not all that often I have customers that ask for stuff like that.
Now, do you guys do it constantly? Is it something that you would want him to write something like that? Or do you think it would be just as easy to go in, find the actual shelf material, ignore that row, drag in a piece of acrylic? If it says you needed 7 square feet of that shelf material, you would just pull in 7 square feet of the acrylic.
Well, maybe let us play around with it a little bit, see if it's
Okay,
it
well,
doesn't
let's
seem
pull it
like
in, give it a 1 so that you could at least see how you would do something like that.
Because I was just wondering, like, in here you'll see you'll have your own quantity of PLAM shelves. You can't change that, just here in the estimate, like it says, I don't know, 20 feet of PLAM shelves, and you just change that to 20 square feet of acrylic or something.
Right, so when you look at the shelves right here, you can see if we bring over the quantity, actually it's right there, your quantity's right there. So when you look at that, we would actually need to see the formula or the part so that we can actually figure out which one of these is truly the shelf. You've got 2. You've got a bid pre-laminated that's a 1 inch, and you've got another one that's 3/4, and our only quantity
It depends
is
on the size.
is the 3/4. So you can see you have 17.05 square feet of the bid pre-laminated shelf. So in theory, you could just ignore that row, which is row 30, and then drag in a piece of acrylic from your library and put in the exact same amount.
Okay.
So I would drag it right underneath there so you see your 17.05 and you're good to go. It'll be literally swapping it out in the quote, for exactly the same amount of material. Now, again, if this is something where you do a cubby in, 50 places throughout the job, that could create a problem. But if it's usually just in one room, it probably wouldn't be that hard to do what we're doing right now. When you hold it, it tells you where you're inserting it. Yep. So 17 point, I don't remember what it was. If you pull it down a little, you'll see the number behind you again.
Okay, well that seems pretty okay.
Pretty easy.
Yeah, that makes sense now. So we don't have to spend a lot of time on that. I guess one thing my first thing is the tack surface. Can we come up with something for that as a assembly, or that we could drag in as a?
The tack surface?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I see that written up. So tack surface assembly, square foot price, $15 a square foot. Surface material, core material, backer. And so these are like a few that you wanted him to make for you.
Yeah, because we do a lot of tack surface. Sometimes it's just the fabric wrapped. Sometimes it's cork with a backer. So I was thinking we could get a product that we could use for. Okay. Either if it's the fabric wrapped or if you want to put a cork.
And did you want it to be parametric?
Well, I guess it doesn't need to be parametric. I think I said that last time, but basically I just want to be able to drag it from the assemblies, and put it in, I don't know, I've got some fabric in there, I don't know, I guess just as a already made product so we don't have to do it every time.
Sure. So in theory, we could actually create a static assembly that has the core and the backer and then the material, the fabric itself, and give it a price of, you know, like you suggested, $15 a square foot. And then when you bring it in, you would literally just say, okay, I need 27 square feet, and
Right.
it will actually calculate it for you. Sure.
Right. And this will it'll keep track of our fabric and our micro. Yeah.
How would you want to be able to apply job spec to it, or you just want to have like a generic bid fabric in there?
Right now, I just kind of have a generic bid fabric, I guess. If it's something we could change, if it comes up, like if we drug it in, and then want to change, whatever. Say
Yeah,
it's
and
a
at
super
that point,
expensive fabric.
static, you can just double click on it, and we could have 15 different fabrics in your fabric library. So you could just double click on that library item and replace it with the higher priced one. Again, then you're not using job spec per se.
Right, that'd be fine too.
Cool. All right, so that would be a literal custom one-off. So you would create that custom one-off first, and then we can turn it into an assembly really easily. So you want to do that real quick, or let's actually use Dave for something that I don't know how to do. That one I know how to do. If we start pulling formulas in, that's where I get a little wonky. Okay. So the next thing you have on your list is a mail units assembly. What's that about?
That was the cubby unit. So we covered that.
All right, so we figured that one out. Sweet. Oh, die wall lineal foot. So right now I think we have our die wall as just a regular die wall piece. And we do have a lineal foot curved, but you had wanted something else here. Use level 2 straight die wall, 135 lineal feet. Use level 1. So you want to make 4 of them, or you want to be able to apply a job spec that fits that?
I guess it would actually be 8, because I'd like those 4, and then just because I know you've got wood veneer die walls. So just whatever that our lineal foot price, and then apply the wood veneer pricing that is already your sub-assembly.
So again, we kind of talked about this the other day, where we said you could pull that same thing in. You could swap out that labor for the higher price labor if you wanted to. But now you're saying you'd actually like to have that same exact die wall, but with just have it leveled out, like level 3, level 4.
Right, because that's kind of how we're doing it now. And obviously, as we go along, we'll be able to tweak this and get better information. But right now, I want to sell my die walls at these prices.
So have you created these additional labor
yes.
items? Okay.
Yeah, the labor's in there.
So Dave, would you just take that same assembly, open it up, do a save as, and swap out the labor?
Yeah, you probably just have to do the sub-assembly. I mean, it just depends on what you want to do, and then if you want them to sell at that price, use adjusted unit price.
Yeah, I know where I want it to end, so we know the ending with the price. So, and we know the kind of labor level. So I guess we just need to adjust the amount of labor.
So let's go to your assembly tab, then we'll open up that sub-assembly. No, sorry, the main assembly tab. We're on the estimate tab.
Oops.
She is job specking it. Look at her. She is whipping around.
Oh no, it's the mouse. It really hates this thing.
Well, I don't know why it'd be confusing, since there's an assemblies tab and an assembly tab.
There is, I know. And I'm not going to lie, probably half the time I say it wrong. All right.
So go here.
Yes, please. Go ahead and click on your open folder.
There we go.
That was weird. Click the drop down there next to assembly category. Nope, the one just to the right. There you go. And scroll to the bottom for us. And click on the die wall. Actually, click on millwork. It's under millwork, I think.
Yep.
There you go. And click search. And we probably will want die wall, straight and curved labor. Is that right, Dave?
Yep.
Would you want the wood material labor square foot as well?
No.
Okay, so just those two. Hold your shift key down. There you go. Click OK. I think those are the only two. Is that right? And let's open that last one up by hitting the plus sign next to the 1 in the center grid. Beautiful. All right, so right now it's listed under labor custom. And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to make a copy of this entire subassembly, and we're going to name it something different, like you said, level 2, level 3, and then we'll swap out the labor that's listed on that row for that particular labor. Does that sound right, Dave?
Yeah.
Cool. So go up to where it says drywall material labor straight for me, and then just go up to file.
You want me to click?
Yeah, either one is fine,
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
And go up to the word file and do a save as. Okay, and let's call it something different. You know, we've got labor straight, and maybe we'll call it level 2. Okay, and click. Do we have to put our product categories in? No, not on a subassembly. Okay, click OK.
Only at the product level that matters.
Perfect. That's going to start that one. And just for fun, if you want, go ahead and make a second one real quick. Call it level 3. And click OK. All right, so now we're going to go to the actual bottom row. Do it on the very bottom one. Yeah, we'll start at the bottom. And I'm thinking we're going to do both sets of the labor custom. Would you agree? Bueller.
Sorry. Did the normal thing where every now and then it just...
I know. Shuts you down. I heard it go ding dong. So would he do both? Would she do both those labor customs?
Yeah.
Okay, so just double click on them for me and go to replace library item. And we're going to choose that fancy label level 3, 4, I guess, and click OK. So basically what that's doing, click OK again, it's increasing the cost. Is that what you're wanting to do?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so go ahead and close it up. So hit the minus sign next to 16. The reason we do that is that when you pull it in as an actual assembly where it's a part of it, that if you leave it open here, when you pull it in, it'll stay open there. It's kind of a pain. Housekeeping, as Dave calls it. Go ahead and hit the save above your seat and then close it to the right of you. Yep, perfect. Let's do this one. We're just going to double click on that custom again. And we'll name that to the level 2. And click OK. And did you make and close it up again on the 16 and save it and close it? Now, did you make level 1 custom different than the main?
No, we'll leave yours in there and we'll just call that level 1, I guess. And then,
Okay, is that okay?
yeah, that's fine.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we can close the straight one, and now we're going to want to do the exact same thing to your curved. Okay, so make a save as. And call it level 2 and then level 3. And you're just going to repeat. Wash, rinse, and repeat. Cool. Open it up at the very bottom. Yeah, you'll have to. That's perfect. Did it great. Double click it, replace it with that 3. Yep. Click OK. Close her up. Just got that mouse under control now.
It's fighting me.
Well, you are winning, my friend. All right.
One piece of paper.
Okay.
Okay, so then the wood ones you'd need to do the exact same thing with. Do you feel confident you could do those? Just going to open up the 2 wood ones?
Yes.
All right, because they should be the exact same thing.
Okay.
All right.
Now we're going to adjust the hours to get it to those dollar values or close to.
So are you saying that you think that the labor that's put in there, the cost is incorrect?
No, I want those products at 10% markup to come out at those dollar values. or close. I mean, I realize they're not going to
Go
be.
to your assembly, right click and choose refresh for me in there. And let's pull one in that we just created.
Because I think we tried that before, just, you know, we drug in the labor and it still wasn't the hours. We weren't getting it to the
We still
level.
actually have to, Dave, we still have to actually create new full assemblies and pull them in with that subassembly, don't we?
Say that again.
So we've only got these 4. We need to actually we need to make copies of
Yeah. You need to make copies of the assemblies and then link in the new subassemblies.
Yep. So remove the one and pull the other one in. So let's go back to the assembly tab. Okay, and we're going to open up the die wall assemblies themselves. So this time, instead of going to the lower category, we're going to stick there. Yep, perfect. Go ahead and say, okay, we're going to bring them all in. We need to do all 4 of them. You'll have to just open it again. This time, don't click on anything. Just
Right.
Sometimes the control-y thingy works, others it does not. So since you want to have separate ones for a level 2 and a level 3, we'll want to go ahead and create a copy. So again, go back up to the top where it says File, do a Save As, and we'll call this one level 2. Click OK. Oh, we got to change the name. So yeah, maybe L2. Does that help? Does it let you do that far? Yeah. And then let's go ahead and just finish it, because if we get too many open, it's A, going to be boggy, and B, it's going to start to get confusing. So let's hit the plus sign next to your item, and then go ahead and click on there. Yep. All right, so what we're going to want to do, first off, let's close up that line 16 for me. All right, and let's make it wider so we can see everything. Auto size columns. There you go. So the die wall material labor straight is the one we don't want. And we're going to want to pull in the right one. So let's pull in the right one first, just so we don't forget what we're doing. I'm always kind of like, I don't want to screw anything up. So go ahead and open up your flyout panel to the right. And we're going to go down to the very bottom and look for our subassemblies. Okay, so remember we made them under millwork. And now we're looking for our, where is it? Let's right click and refresh this. We didn't do that, I guess. We did it on the estimate tab, but not on this one. All the way to the bottom, remember we're looking for subassemblies. There you go. There they are. All right, so we want the straight level 2 die wall material. So drag it up and bring it right up underneath that one, and you can read what it says. And go ahead and click OK. Now, we want to link this, Dave, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, link it. Hear my hesitation there? All right, and if you, again, make this a little wider, just make your description wider, because if you remember, we'll see that level 2. So we know the one we want is there, yay. So let's go ahead and highlight row 1, and we can delete that whole row now. Just delete it. There you go. I know, you know me, I don't usually like deleting things. Okay, so go ahead and save it and close her up, because we are done with that one. So now we'll make another copy, and this time we'll do it as level 3. Okay, I would again close that up before you go up to the one above you real quick. Close it up and save it and close it, because we're done. We only had the 2. Okay, so now you can open that up a notch, click on it, and shrink it all up. See how it's bringing everything in big?
Mm-hmm.
All right, hit the plus sign. So this again, we want to open up that die wall material. We want to grab that one, bring it all the way up. Perfect. And remove line 1. Make sure if you want to open it, just make sure you're removing the right one. Feels confident. Perfect. Just close it up, save it, and you're good to go. All right, so we have done that one. Just hit the plus sign in the middle there. There you go.
This was curved level 2.
Level 2, yeah.
Okay.
Now, do we need to do something for the lineal feet one, Daves? Can we use the same thing? Oh,
Yeah, you can use the same one for the lineal foot.
okay, cool.
I thought we were doing the linear foots.
We already did
Yeah,
them.
this
Oh,
one.
Oh, this is the curved lineal.
Okay, and go ahead and save this one off as, yep. And do a save as, and we'll grab the third one. You've been doing LVL before.
Oops.
I don't know if you want to keep that continuity.
Yes.
So Dave's big pet peeve closing stuff up. Mine is continuity. Did you change the name?
mine's continuity
Yes, I did.
also.
Okay, cool. Yeah, she's going so fast I didn't even see it. It's like lightning. She's on fire. Okay, now that one went underneath. So again, if you go ahead and delete the top one. And if you want, you can highlight that one that we're on right now and right click on it. And you can cut it. And then right click underneath that and choose paste before now. Paste before. Perfect. Okay. Save it. All right. All right, so we're done with the die wall curved, and I think we just need to do the other two. So again, do you feel confident you can keep going with this?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so you got to finish those two off, and then do your wood ones.
Okay.
Okay. Next on your list, it looks like trash
Well,
cabinets.
so what price are they going to come in at? That's the whole thing.
Oh yeah, that's what we wanted to check that. Okay, so go ahead and go back over to your estimate, and let's refresh it again here. Now we should have some of those we just created. All right, so grab one of your lineal foot ones that is level, and go ahead and give it a 1. Click OK. And just click on the, go to the summary tab at the bottom there. Once it's done thinking hard. And hit your plus sign over on the left where it's the 110 storage, because as you see, our context is that. And click on the die wall itself. There you go. So now 244 a lineal foot. Does that sound right?
What are we? We're curved level 2.
Yes, sir.
That should be 185 or close to it.
Okay.
So
Well,
this is a lot more.
I'm going to defer to Dave. How would we play with that to get that where they want it to be?
Price-wise,
Mm-hmm.
use the adjusted unit price. You can set it what it is per foot.
Oh, okay.
Because
Well,
your unit should be lineal foot, not each.
I mean, can't we have it come in at the correct price at, like at 10%? Instead of having to do the adjusted price every time?
Well, depending on if you want to, like I said, if you want set pricing, $135 for lineal foot, that's what adjusted unit price is for. because it's just a price override. It doesn't matter what's in it. That's how much you're going to sell it per foot in this case.
Well, so you guys really don't want us messing with your labor rates and your assemblies or labor hours? I mean, we can't change that to.
Oh yeah, you can certainly change that.
I mean, I guess I'd like to come in without us having to mess with it every time, close to those numbers. You know, so if we need to adjust the amount of labor in those products, I'd like to do that.
Well, do you think it's the amount of labor or the amount of time that you've said it was going to take to do something like this?
It's probably that. So if you used what we, you know, to be honest with you, when we were filling out those things, I don't think we gave you our best effort. So.
Well, gee, thanks for admitting that. All right, well, let's open up that particular summary or that particular subassembly, and we can take a look here.
Yeah.
Oh, that scared the crap out of me.
You should be used to that by now.
I'm not gonna lie, every time that happens, it scares me. All right, so it's coming in with that labor. We actually really just need to see that first one because the finish and everything is ignored right now. So yeah, if you just want
to see just this first one.
That one, yeah, because the others, if you notice, they're all ignored right now.
Oh yeah.
So this is literally just a particle board with laminate on it at this point, and that's what you're saying is $135.
180. Or which one are we on? We're still on the curve level 2.
Yep. So 185 lineal foot.
Okay.
So that's just a matter of adjusting. If you were to look at the formula on that row, it's probably the value in the time column.
So let's
figuring so much labor per foot, basically.
So we want to look at the labor ones below. So maybe do the level 2 labor one. Double click it. So you can see it says time is in minutes, and it's subassembly. It represents the access panel. 1 is off, 1.25 is on. And that's in job spec that you would enable that.
Right, but the biggest thing is the width times time. So it's the value in the time column. It's per foot.
So go ahead and click OK, and let's see what we've got listed in your time column. So pull backwards a little bit.
Yummy dogs.
He has a mighty warrior there. Did you hear that?
Yeah, they all are.
Oh my goodness. Go ahead and click on your 2 little check marks, your estimate settings. Let's undo your time column. We must have hidden it. We said it wasn't important, but clearly it is. Click OK. Let's scroll over a little bit. His daughters are probably coming home.
There it is.
20 minutes.
Right. So you can see it says it's 20 minutes. And again, if we look at maybe what the part is, we might see what it's manufacturing at this point. We have an overhead of 200% on this particular labor. Does that sound right? You want to keep it kind of across the board with that?
Yeah, that's
Somebody
fine.
else. One of you.
Your overhead on your material is really low, 5%. Does that sound right?
That's
Sure.
That's what we have it set now, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, mine was 38.
That's something, again, we'll have to look at as we go on.
But right now, so 20 minutes, does that sound right per lineal foot to you?
Again, you know, how this all happened was like with the time study. They basically came in and said, okay, this is what we want to sell the walls for. They didn't give me the, you know, they didn't give me all the details. I just know what my lineal foot price is.
Okay.
This,
I guess we could
this whole
just start
system
playing with it.
will help us actually see what's going on.
Okay. So do we just change it right here on this line, or do we actually have to open up that subassembly, Dave, and change it there?
Subassembly row.
Okay. So go ahead and right click on that die wall material curve. We have to open up the subassembly again. So line 15, just.
Oh.
Shannon stepped out, so
That's
Jim's
okay. Go to open assembly. That's perfect. Yeah, you did it just fine. You went to the very top. No biggie. You go to open assembly. And I'll click it open a bit. And now we can kind of play with that time row.
Yeah, because what did we come in, like what was it, 220? Or
It was $230.
230? So, I mean, I suppose if we just did a percentage, 230 divided by 185, and then I don't know if that would get you close to reducing the minutes, like reduce it by that much of a percentage.
Possibly. Scroll over until we get to that time. Again, we may have it hidden on this row. Oh, nope, there it is. So yeah, do you want to just shorten one of them?
See how much for that. Let me grab a calculator.
Cool.
I'm good. I like percentages.
I don't like numbers.
Numbers are fun.
No, they're not. I have one of those really cool tape measurers that literally has the line for 1/16, 1/8.
You have a graduated tape, huh?
My dad is visiting, and I got him into woodworking. I've been a woodworker my whole life, but my father never was, and now he's retired, and he has like the most expensive, beautiful tools. Like I can't even believe the crap he has. I'm using a belt sander from, Farm and Fleet, and he's got the top of the line stuff. And he asked me for a tape measure to measure something because I just redid our bathroom, and he pulled it out and he's like, "What is this?" Like he was disgusted by it.
Cheap. It's the quick, easy way.
It is. And I'm telling him, I said, look, half the time I am bent over doing this stuff all by myself. It's not like I have a partner I can call out to a number. So it just resonates faster with me when I can see it like that. And he just thought it was awful. It was really funny.
$45.
It's like, get over it, old man.
Okay, so we're about 20% high. So I guess if we reduce everything by 20%, maybe you start that way. So what? 25 to
2. Oh yeah.
15.
Well, 15. 15. 15 again or 12?
If it was 20, I get it. 15, I guess.
Okay. Okay, now what do we do? Close it up and save it?
Do you want to not, you don't want to do the CNC as well?
CNC router on 15. This one. That would be 20%. It's 5.
12.
Okay, so close it up, save it. It's above the C in contact, looks like a floppy.
What, the C in contact? Oh,
He's waiting for you now.
well, you can continue. You're doing fine.
Go ahead and close it up.
It's hard when there's one screen down there and one screen up there.
No, I'm just.
Okay, and go back to the estimate tab. And we will actually have to pull it in again, so go ahead and delete it on the left. It's not smart enough to, it won't update just because we tell it to update. So go ahead and right click on the left and just delete that one that we pulled in already, all the way in the tree on the left.
Oh,
There you
right
go.
here.
Yes, please. Just delete. There you go. And go ahead and pull it in. Let's refresh it. Wait, sorry, we didn't refresh. My mistake. So right click and refresh. A lot of times you're not really doing things instantaneous, like this one person would be working in here and then you'd later come back and be working in it. So kind of got to do a couple of weird oddities there. Go ahead and click one. And again, if you mentioned, like Dave mentioned, if you guys would rather see lineal foot in there, you could open up that assembly on the assemblies tab, Shannon, and just change it to say LF instead of each. It might resonate better with you.
Okay.
All right, so once it's done,
Oh, beautiful.
click
That's
over.
close enough
That's
for
pretty
me.
darn close.
Close enough for me.
God, that's incredible. Woohoo!
Yes, that's what we want. Thank you.
So you can see how you can kind of play with it to get that pricing.
That's what we're getting at, trying not to mess with the labor and to get these.
Sure, yeah. And so, but again, like Dave mentioned, there's some other places where it wouldn't necessarily be time related. Most of the things are. Did you say that 90% of everything is kind of time related like that, Dave?
No, some things are, some things not. Like cabinets aren't, but
Okay.
countertops and these are.
And then
So,
I assume as we get into shop pack, we'll be able to see like, oh, no, we're wrong on this and we're wrong on that. And
well, that's exactly what I was going to say. So it's lovely that you guys did a time study. That's one of the best ways to find out. But certainly when it comes to reality and we really start doing it on the shop floor, when you're doing multiples of them, sometimes it goes a lot faster. If you have a problem, obviously you'll have another issue. So when we start to collect all of that job costing information, and now we've got, say, 5 jobs to look at, we can kind of look across, okay, that one we can't count because, you know, they dropped 5 cabinets as they were loading out of the trucks. Our time is all screwed up. But then again, we can start looking at things collectively and say, okay, look at this across the board. We're high on this or we're low on that. So let's tweak it the other way. But since you guys have done some form of a time study, that certainly helps us to get to where you want it to be. So again, feeling comfortable. Now remember, I'm recording this, so if anybody freaks out and goes, I don't remember what we did, you guys can certainly listen to this again. But so good with that, okay?
Yeah, so that shows us how to do one. We can go back.
Exactly. So yeah, just kind of open those up after, especially after you finish creating all of them, so you have all of them again with the wood ones as well, and then you can play with that.
Okay.
All
Can
right.
we do the tack surface? Because really, I think if we get these dye walls straightened out and tack surface, I could probably, we could probably start bidding that shit.
Yeah, we'll do that last because, like I said, I know that's just a custom one-off, so that's super easy.
Okay.
I want to make sure we still have Dave in the background for our last couple things. So you've got a trash cabinets here, and it says your standard is inverted drawer box, all MCP, with a hole cut out for the can. Option to add a waste can. Option to change the slide to Hayfla or equal slide out units. So.
Or I guess, how do you do trash units? Or we seem to get a lot of different ones, like, you know, whether it's
Sure.
a real big fancy one with the Hayfla, you know, $250 pullout, or
that's the one I have in my house.
or the cheap ones we build where we turn our drawer box upside down and put a trash can.
So Dave, how would you? Can you write him a new one?
For the trash pullout?
Uh-huh.
There's a couple different ways you could handle it. I mean, most of the time what I used to do is just a matter of, you know, if it's a trash pullout, is it a, you know, 1 door full height or just a single 1 door, if you will?
When we do ours, I believe it's just one panel, like one, you know, front pull-out panel.
So 1 door full height.
Yeah. So you could take that existing product and then just add in your hardware.
Okay. So we'll go over to our assemblies tab. Let's open it up there. So go ahead and hit your open folder.
Oops. Oh, come on, Shannon.
Or your base cab or cab base. And then choose your base cab 1 door, the very first one. And basically what he's saying is that we're going to save this one off as a new thing. We'll call it base cab trash cabinet.
What do you just want to call it? Base trash? Or
Base trash.
What do you want to call it?
Base, I don't know, standard.
Base cab trash?
Base cabinet standard trash. That would be it. Make ours with the
Go.
track.
Okay, and we'll rename the code. So maybe base B1D trash. Okay, click OK. And so once that is done loading in, what Dave is mentioning is we'll go ahead and open up that very first one, our material one, and we're going to drag in the hardware. Because everything else about it is exactly the same as a 1 door cabinet. So underneath the, we probably can ignore our shelves because we wouldn't have a shelf in there. We wouldn't have, over on the left there, line 25, we could go ahead and ignore that.
Oh,
Yeah, you really don't. So just hit the IGN.
Whoops. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it. You did well. I think everything else would be okay. So I would just drag it into the upper part where it says cabinet parts. Does that sound okay to you, Dave, or would you throw it someplace else?
I wouldn't even put it inside there. Just put it after the last subassembly.
Oh, so you just drag it underneath 33.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right, go to the library over on the right. So it's staining out. Go for it.
Hardware.
Are we we're not doing our standard, we're doing, okay, so just our slides or,
I don't know. I don't know what we make trash cabinets with.
yeah, I think it's just.
100 pound full
Yeah,
extensions.
So open up your slides.
the futaba, I guess the 20-inch.
Right here.
Yeah.
Do you want that?
Right there. Perfect. And put in one pair. Click OK. Okay. Now, you mentioned something about an upside down drawer box.
Right, I mean, instead of a normal drawer box, we do these all out of the melamine.
So in theory, we probably could just pull in a drawer box subassembly.
Yeah, I would think so.
And then we actually wouldn't even need the hardware because we could actually make it talk to it based on the size of the cabinet. Could we not? Mr. Mash?
You could just, I mean, for me, I'd put in the hardware and then just put in labor.
What about
Put
the
in-
material for the drawer box?
Oh, so you guys make a separate drawer box for the pullout?
Yes.
I thought it was just like a all-in-one thing that you bought out and stuck in there.
Sometimes, I mean, it all depends. Like if they just say, hey, we want a trash cabinet, and they don't tell us what, we build our standard. But if the specs call for the, the big hay-flow pull-out, then we stick that in.
And in theory, this will still work for that because what you can do then is just, swap it out for the hay full of pull instead of this extension one.
Yeah, if you could also pull in a drawer box,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, a drawer box subassembly.
just a drawer box subassembly.
Let's go to your assemblies tab, Shannon. Go to the bottom, go to your drawer box. Click it open.
And where am I dragging it to?
I would put it right by where this other thing is, so. Link it. There you go. Now see, I would put the slide inside of the drawer box, but now we actually don't even need the slide, do we? Because there's a slide in the drawer box, right? There is.
Correct.
All right, so get rid of that. Yes.
So you should probably make two different ones too, by the way. Like a trash pullout that already has the drawer box in there and one that it's an all-in-one. Label them appropriately so you just pull in the one that you want.
Right.
So this is their standard where it would be like an upside down drawer box. So this basically is taking a drawer stock, the whole bit. And all we did, we probably could have taken a one door, one drawer, but the problem with that is that our door wouldn't have been tall enough then. So I like this better because we're kind of pulling that in as just a drawer box. Now we don't have, do we have a drawer front on a drawer box? We don't, right?
Nope, they're separate.
So we're good. So this is literally just the guts of a drawer box, which is kind of exactly what you need. And it's got those futabas. Now, is that the right pull that you would use or slide that you would use?
I think so. I mean, actually, we probably should be using 150-pound slides, but we'll leave it. That's what they've been doing, but I've had to go out to job sites and replace them because they fall apart.
Okay, again, now let's say if that's what happens and you guys decide that you do want to do that, same sort of situation. We can go and you can open up that drawer box subassembly, rename it as trash drawer box, let's say, put in the 150s in place of it, and then you can pull that in instead. Just swap them out. So again, kind of future thoughts type of thing, but that would work. So now we've called this a standard one. So this one we can close it all the way up and save it, and it's done. It's good to go. Now, the other thing that you mentioned was if we did one that was like you used a big heavy duty $250 Hayfula material thing. Again, for that, if you wanted, you could actually just use your regular door drawer, or excuse me, just regular door, and pull in that Hayfula and then pull in a piece of labor, some labor to put it in. You know, I know it takes what, an hour to install one of those. It's not a little dinky thing to install that. That was an add-on on mine. That was a change order in my kitchen. I was not happy about it. But I absolutely love it. Like I'm so glad I did it. It was like the coolest thing ever. So you could make another one if you want, just based on the door again, and call it that. Do you have that Hayfula?
Yeah, I put it in there
All
actually.
right, so let's just do that really quick. So go ahead and click on your base cab again. The top one, don't use that one, yeah.
Yeah, I started to think about how much trash things we do, so I make a whole category of trash.
And I would call it, like you said, maybe Hayfula or something, because it is that.
Custom.
Or Rev-A-Shelf is another one.
Would be a good name for that.
What do you want to call it?
Pull
Yeah, pull-out trash.
I'll say
the standard is upside down.
right, because we need something so we'll spark our memory that it's got the
Exactly.
big hardware like.
Well, I would think pull-out would do that, but maybe
Trash can and bio.
trash insert.
Yeah, that sounds good.
What do you want the code to be?
Insert.
TR insert. INST.
That's fine.
Perfect. Click OK.
And actually, I put one in, like a cheaper one, like I think I just called it bid pull out. So let's use that one when we put
Cool.
it in.
And again, this time we'll just drag it at the bottom like Dave suggested, so that it kind of stands out to you. Just put it right above that product row, line 11. So go to your library, and wherever you said you put that.
If it's under hardware or
Bid hardware?
no, it's not over. Maybe I need to try hardware.
Yep, she's in hardware.
So let's go down unless I made a whole trash thing. Yep, trash manager.
There you go. Perfect. Trash pull out. Just grab the bid one and put it right above.
Right above.
Yep, come down one. Yeah, there you go. Right there. So it'll stand out. And put a 1.
Is there a reason that one I put in for the Hayfly has a little notepad next to it instead of the?
Because it has a vendor attached to it already. Is that right?
Maybe.
Put a
Yep.
note with it.
Yep.
Okay. Vendor's attached. And we also want to drag just a tiny bit of labor in there too. Because we know it takes more time.
Custom, yes, custom.
And I'm putting that.
I'd put it right by it. Yep.
Oh,
So it really resonates with you. Perfect. Fantastic. All right. The other thing, besides the one we're going to do last, is that base microwaves, 1 or 2 drawer. So you're
you might actually have that in there. I don't know.
more microwave cabinets. Is that what you're talking about? Because that's a wall microwave cabinet, but you're talking about a base one where it's
yeah, like where it's got part, part of the back finished and then a drawer below it.
So that would be a wall cabinet one then. I thought you were talking
Well, no, I
about
mean the base. I've seen it more where they're going under the counter where it's you got
right.
Like a printer.
like I did the.
Thing.
You see the sketch there. I did a little sketch of it.
So basically that is almost the exact same thing as a wall one because I'm thinking you're talking about them. Like there's the new Rage, which I did not do, is a microwave drawer that goes inside of a base cabinet. and the microwave itself costs $1,000. It's like, hello, no thanks. I'm gonna pass on that. But it's a different build. So if you're thinking that it's kind of like that,
But do you have my sketch there?
I do. I'm looking at it. Dave, are you looking at it?
Yeah, just where it's open and you got a drawer and then toe kick.
Mhm. So basically, it's an open base cabinet. I would just use that.
It's an open base cabinet with a drawer.
Yeah. So just
There's already
you should
one in there that's an open cabinet with a drawer.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yep. So go back to your
Do the same
tabs.
thing.
Yep. There you go. So it'd be the exact same thing right there. And it'd be
Okay,
finished
so
on
that's
the
it.
side, so you could put a microwave in there. Just let it sit.
Okay, that's fine. I wasn't sure if that was it or not. So.
Next, soffit panels, square foot price. Change face for grain. Change brace to be fire rated sometimes.
Yeah, we got this one hospital that they insist that their soffit panels match to the doors, and that's not our standard. But I guess looking for something where it would come in like not grain or just like a normal laminate panel, and then we could change it when we do these funky jobs.
Just use the wall filler panel.
There's a ceiling filler panel that's done by the lineal foot that you could use. There's also a slope top panel, which if you have to put, they call them slope tops. I'm sure
we do those a lot too. I was going to have you look at that too, because I think we sell them for a little bit higher, but now that we know how to kind of massage the prices, we could probably fix that ourselves.
Is it under cab wall? I think it's under cab wall.
I saw them in there for sure.
Ceiling panel. Where are those at?
Under
Fillers.
filler.
Maybe? There you go.
Where?
I know I saw them in there. Like under fill, I think they're under fillers and stuff like that.
I'm not seeing that.
There's no fillers.
Try it.
No,
Scroll up and go to cab, fillers and panels.
right there.
There you go. Second one.
So ceiling filler panel.
Yeah, it just means ceiling. It goes on the top of a wall or tall cabinet, and you can size it however you want. And you just say how many lineal feet of it you need.
You can tell how high, because I think I played around with that. I couldn't, that wasn't coming in say we got 30-inch tall panels or something.
You can change the height to whatever you want it to be. If you pull it in, one of the attributes is height. I guess it may be one of the other ones, but it.
Okay, so they'll say it's 30 high, and then it's what linear foot.
Yeah, so the height you could say 30.
Okay.
Can you roll the width, bring it in at 16 inches wide too?
The width, leave it 12 because its unit of measure is lineal foot.
Okay.
So in the quantity, you're just going to type in, I need 100 feet or 20 feet or whatever it might be.
Okay. That's simple.
And then as far as changing that material to fire rated, you would actually use job spec for that.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Keyboard slide out. Would it just be on a underneath a countertop, or are you saying you want to attach a drawer front to it and just want that?
Our standard slides are pullouts is laminated panel on not our typical slides. I don't remember what the name of them are right now, but it's pull-out slides. They just undermount to the bottom of the countertop.
Mm-hmm. So would you not just swap out the slide for a keyboard slide?
Are you talking about the ones that you just buy the slides and put a shelf and then make your own shelf and attach it to the bottom of a top?
Right.
Yeah. So you could create a simple assembly that just has a laminated shelf and then whatever that hardware is inside it.
So again, a static assembly for that.
They're usually always the same size, but
Okay.
I mean, you could make it something out, parametric if you needed to, but my experience, they're almost always the same size.
Okay, all right, we can do that. Wall corner units, blind corner units. So this was the one this is why I wanted him, because you guys started talking about that. So Lazy Susan, cabinets. How would you go about those, Dave?
We could certainly build one because I think your drawing says you have what? Blind corner and a pie cut?
Wall, blind wall, blind base, Lazy Susans. Option to change the hardware for Lazy Susan type.
Lazy Susans go in the blind corners, or?
Well, I mean, it's really just a corner. I mean, yeah. I've seen different kinds where there's just a corner unit with the pie, pie hinge. Or,
Sure. You can do it a couple different ways. For our true residential customers, and all they do is residential, there's actually just a pie cut cabinet, and then there's a separate assembly called Lazy Susan. That way that you can pull it in, stick it in whatever you want, and swap out the hardware manually however you want. But I've also had people, they want the hardware inside it. Just depends on how you want to do it.
yeah, I guess,
The blind corner is actually fairly straightforward. If you give me a keyboard and mouse, I can show you how to do it, and I'll just talk through it. Might be easier.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do a blind corner wall first. No reason. I'm just gonna start this way. This is how I kind of work, because I'm just gonna start with a one-door wall cabinet, only because it's got all the components I need. Some will have to change, but we'll start with this one. So I'm just gonna take this and do a save as. I don't think this is anything new based on what we've already even done today, and we'll just call it wall blind corner cab. Sure, extra space here. And call it that. So all we've done is make an exact duplicate of a one-door cabinet, nothing spectacular. So I'll do a few things to set it up. Just pretend it's 36 wide. I'm going to expand it. So here's all the sub-assemblies that are in it. The beauty is, none of these really change, other than you can't really put a divider in a blind corner, because then it kind of defeats the whole purpose of the blind corner. So this guy I can get rid of. Shelves stay the same. This guy does change. And the only reason it changes is because now we need a blind panel associated with it. So all I did was right click it and choose open. So I can just open the sub-assembly. I don't have to go hunt for it in categories. And I'm just going to do a save as. And I'm just going to change it. Blind corner cab material labor. And like I said, most of the stuff inside it is just what you want anyways. The only thing you really have to add is a blind corner panel. Do you guys make your blind corner panel a certain inches wide, or is it pretty much, whatever the depth of the cabinet is, it's the full depth plus 3 inches or something?
I really don't know if that, I would say that's, I guess assume it's 12 inches or where.
Okay. Let's do this. This is what I've done in the past. I'm just going to copy this because it'd be made out of the same material as a Valance or Scribe. Any of these things, this bid pre-laminated, it'd be made out of the same stuff, right? So I'm just going to come in here and copy and paste this guy, and we're going to create a formula. And I'm using keyboard shortcuts. I could have right-clicked the row and said assign formula, but I'm using Control F because I pretty much do this every single day. So it's just habit to use the keyboard shortcuts. So I'm going to use this and just do a save as, and you'll kind of notice I like save as. Why start blank if you don't have to? I guess we could call it panel. So we're just going to say you get 1 because it's only going to be in a blind corner cabinet. And the width is going to be whatever the depth of the cabinet is plus 3. That way, if your cabinets are typically 12 inches deep, it'd be a 15-inch panel. So when the cabinet butts into it, you got 3 inches there before you hit the door.
Okay.
That makes sense to you. And this will just be height of the cabinet. Quick check. So now we've got the width and the height. Should be good. Now we just have to go find that. There it is. So now we have our piece. The beauty is this is already tied to job spec because I had copied this valence row and pasted it. It's already got the right part from job spec attached to it. It's already the right material, so we get everything we need there. The only extra things that we're going to have down here is blind corners, probably going to take a little longer to assemble cabinet-wise than a typical wall cabinet would. And just because it's easier, I'm going to move these 2 columns back here. Makes it a lot easier. You can see what you're doing. So 0.2, it's 0.2. Just making up a number. You can tell me it's completely in left field. I'm just going to fix the time of 30 minutes. Is that too much time for a blind corner wall just to put the box of the cabinet together?
Would think so. Should be okay.
Okay. So we'll put
I can change if we need to.
Yeah. And then, let's see. I suppose it makes sense if we updated this guy because you have one more thing to cut out. So, I know I'm going to run out of characters. So, the cab BC for blind corner. And so, to add one more thing just because. I'm just using the next column just to store value in. And so this would be so there's our square footage. We'll just add it down here. Ugh. Shelf, just quantity. And by the way, you can double click these. I just have most of them memorized, so it's quicker for me to type it. All I did was create another variable up here, calculate same size as the blind panel, and I'm just adding it down here because CNC calculates based upon the square footage of parts you have to cut. So now we can throw that guy in there. So now it's a little bit more time. And then I suppose there's an extra strip to edge band, so we might as well throw that in there. And standard fence. We'll just add this in there. More height. There you go. So that guy should have everything we need in it. So we refresh this, we'll see it. It'll be down here under wall. And we'll link it in. We want that parent-child relationship, and then we're going to get rid of this old one. This is the part, I don't know, this is where I think the magic kind of happens, the way all of these are put together. These are kind of like modules or components. So we already have our door, right? For the most part, I suppose, other than the hinge, it's got all the things you need. And the same subassembly is pretty much inside every single product, because the only thing that ever varies is how you size it to the product. So all you have to do is assign a different formula here. And so I know that it doesn't exist in here, so now we'll create one. Because the biggest difference here is that take product width, don't need that, product width minus product width minus 3. Oops, don't need the underscore. That would look better. Because if you take the overall width minus the depth, minus 3, that would be how big the door would be. Because you get basically the depth plus 3 inches, whatever's left's the filler. You can stop me if that doesn't make sense to you.
That works. Yeah, that's fine.
Seriously,
Now-
I could stop you. It doesn't make sense to me.
Now all I have to do is change that, and notice this guy's 36, but my door's 21 inches wide now. Same door. It's got all the same stuff in it that you need. So for the most part, that's a blind corner cabinet now. Still got all the same functionality of any other cabinet that you can control the adjustable fixed shelves, finish left and right, size of the cabinet. Don't need dividers anymore. Did I get in there? You can't put a divider inside a blind corner. I mean, I suppose you could. It's just probably not.
Its purpose.
Yeah, kind of frowned upon. It's already hard enough to get back in there, but so in essence, that's a blind corner, and I can create a base one for you too. It's pretty much going to be the same process, at least how I look at stuff. So same thing. Here's a base, one door, do a save as, and we'll just label it appropriately. And really, it's the same process. All I'm going to do is create a blind corner box, but the door itself, all I have to do is just change the formula. And for the most part, it's good. So just like before, we'll get rid of our divider. We'll open this and do a save as. And while I'm doing this, Laura, just for your own benefit, the reason why the size of the door may have not made sense to you, you just have to think of it, the blind corner. If it was a left blind corner, the left side of the cabinet's got a panel on it because the cabinet's going to butt up against it. So all my formulas are just assuming all the wall cabinets are going to be the exact same depth, just because there's really no way to tell it otherwise. But so the width of the door is going to be the depth of the cabinet plus 3, because you usually leave 3 inches between, you know,
So they
so you can
open up.
actually open the door on both sides.
Yep, that makes perfect sense now.
If you don't, then you'll, if you live in an older house like I used to, my first one, I remember certain doors I couldn't open all the way for reasons like that, because whoever installed them didn't think of stuff like that, like in the corners.
I do have one where they must have put the wrong door in the wrong way because I can't open both of them at the same time. It makes this really weird rub sound. It's bad.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't have two open that are facing each other anyway, because the likelihood of me smacking my head on them just increases tenfold.
Now we've already got our formula. This we have to update because
This is
wall
exactly
cabinets are
what our
slightly
other
different than
customer was
tall.
asking me about the other day, Dave.
What's that?
We need to do this for that other customer we were talking about the other day. This is exactly what he was talking about.
Okay.
I guarantee you.
Yeah, we'll be going back and watching this video a lot.
I know.
Yeah.
Telling you, the guy is scary smart. I just texted Kathy in support. She texted me a question. She's like, I know you're training. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the Dave, that magic man doing things right now.
Well, as I told the others, that it's not like I was this good when I first started 15 years ago in the software, but it's been 15 years, so stuff gets, I don't know, stuff just starts to make sense after a while.
Yeah.
You do it enough times, it should sink in. I guess that wouldn't be a very good, I don't know, wouldn't be a very good confidence booster of me if after 15 years I wasn't at least decent. But plus, it's like I told Laura, I'm the one that, yeah, pretty much my first assignment when I started at TradeSoft 10 years ago was Russ told me, he's like, make a pre-built database because we didn't have one, or at least the one we had didn't work. It's just, there's a lot of stuff about it that didn't work. So I spent 2 months building this, and over 10 years, I've made it better and better as time goes on. Because it's like a lot of people, after a while, you just kind of you look at something and you're like, man, why did I do it that way? There's this way would have been so much better. Why didn't I do it this way? And so, like I said, when I did stuff, there were many times where I didn't do it the right way. And I could have done it much better way. So it's trial and error. Yeah, there you go. Sometimes. Now you got both blind corners. So you need something for a lazy Susan now, right? Is that just base cabinets?
All right, I guess it'd just be like the pie cut corner or something like that. Or...
Okay. Let's once again, I'm just gonna do a save as on this guy. Call it. I call them differently. L corner cab.
Sure.
I don't know. Same thing. I know it's just terminology. I call it that because that's how I think of it. So when I build it out, yeah, it's the shape of an L, pretty much, just an equal L. All right. So, yeah, unfortunately, I guess it's already open. I was done. All right, it's this guy.
Wow, we're almost to the bottom of the wish list.
For today.
Yeah. You didn't have to mention our crazy wish list about having our room number sort alphanumerically, have you?
I haven't. Tell them about that.
Dave, we would like our list of rooms or summaries to sort alphanumerically automatically.
So,
Okay.
like, if they start out with room 1, room 2, room 3, they went into
He laughed at you.
I told him that was not actually possible. And he was shocked. I said, you can physically move them yourself.
You can write a script or some kind of program for that, can't you, Dave? You're the wonderkin.
I can't. That'd be a development thing that they'd
Well,
have
I
to
think,
do.
who's the developer? Let's get him in here.
It's just an if-and statement somewhere in there.
So every time one of our drafters bitch about our rooms not being in the right area, I'm going to have them call you guys.
No,
You
that's
cut and paste,
my friend.
which is very simple.
Right. And
Yeah, thank you.
the job that has 500 rooms in it.
Oh, wham. When you're quoting the job, you should be putting them in the right order.
I agree.
Oh, so we have to, yeah, I got something to say about that. That doesn't happen to that.
You put them in the order you see them, right? I used to
That's right.
estimate.
And this room's easier than that room, doing this room first. I mean, this closet's easier than that room, I'm doing that one.
The architects always have the room numbers, right? They don't forget
Yeah.
to put a room somewhere and then go back and call it something crazy.
They never do that.
No.
It's for them to sort out once you get awarded the job. That's when it makes that's when it makes sense to spend the time doing that, right? That's what I say.
That's what I mean, I mentioned that to you guys is, don't get bogged down. There's so much minutia that you can get bogged down by. And honestly, if you never get awarded that job, what was the point of taking 20 minutes to put it in some kind of an order? If you get awarded the job, then take the time to do that before the drafter gets a hold of it.
Sounds like a job for Mike Irish.
That's right. He's going to really love us.
All right.
I told you a lot of times I hear the whole complaining from the engineers, drafters to the estimators that, you guys need to tell us exactly what the color is, and you need to tell us, you need to pick the right things. And it's sort of like, I got a totally different feeling for that. And so does Dave. I know I can speak for him in this one, whereas I'm sorry, that's the engineer's job. Your job as an estimator is to try to kick out as many estimates as you can. And it's why we use verbiage like bid laminate, bid this, bid that, because you're just pulling a number kind of out of thin air and throwing it at the job. If we're awarded it, that's when the engineers take the time to really grab the right colors and all that, because how many times you quote a job and 3 months later that color's discontinued?
I'm on the same page with you.
I know. Well, I haven't met an estimator that isn't, so. I don't make a lot of engineer friends though, because they definitely are kind of like, what? As I'm starting to train them in shop pack.
It's always fun to go, you know what laminate color this is? I'm like, is it on the drawings and Plan Swift? No, well, I don't know what it is.
That's right. And even if it's on the drawings in Plan Swift, you're not going to add that to your library so that when they go in and look at it, it shows up. You might put it on the job spec so that there's that description of the color. But again, when the job comes to fruition 3 months later, Pine maybe discontinued that color, so it isn't even a color anymore. So too often we see where people just put too much emphasis on one thing, especially when it comes down. Hey, it didn't scare me that time because I was talking.
Hold on just a second, Laura.
You guys.
Do you want to put the hardware for the Lazy Susan inside here? Or do you want to keep it generic?
Yeah, PO that we wrote
Yes.
last on 15. Here's what I did.
I think they needed us to.
I don't know when, but
We have not issued a PO. Are you talking for Girali?
Yeah.
We have not issued a PO to Girali for the fifth floor.
Okay,
As far as I know, Donna has not issued one because Josh told me that he doesn't have one yet.
so that needs to be done.
Yes, that needs to be done.
Does she have the information from where the?
Probably not. I mean, I can get it to her when I'm done here.
Okay, cool, I'll tell her that.
Okay.
So basically, if I get a number from her, just a number.
No, just a regular PO number, and then she can fill in the information when she gets it. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Do
Dave,
you
wanna-
do you want the Lazy Susan hardware inside here?
I don't think I've added anything unless you had something in your hardware. I haven't put it.
No, I didn't. But let's do this just, and you can edit it afterwards. Just gonna say this hardware.
Yeah, I told our head draftsman that we're going to do the exam rooms a little differently because like right now we list out every room number. And now I told him it's going to be like, 20 typical exam rooms. Like, well, can you put the room numbers in there? It's like, they're going to be on Plan Swift.
Well, we used to do big hospitals, and you would have entire floors
Right.
that had 50 exam rooms on a floor and 6 clean rooms, and then 6 trash rooms, and they wanted the room number on every single one. It's like, I'm not quoting that way.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
$1 million quote, be my guest.
So you got, I call it an L corner. You can obviously come in here and change the name to whatever suits you, if you want to call it Pie Cut or with Lazy Susan, but I got it all in here and set up, and I created this library item for you just right out of here. I called it Bid Lazy Susan Hardware, and I obviously made it way high priced, $150, but it's in your library under hardware and miscellaneous.
Okay.
So feel free to come in here and obviously go into your library and edit its name, put a specific flavor in there and a real price, but it's in there for you.
I like the $150 price.
Yeah, me too.
It covers you no matter what they choose, right?
I could cover one of those pull out things that, pulls out or pulls over and then out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the really fancy one.
Yeah, that's what I want in my house when I do my kitchen.
I didn't want any of those goofy Lazy Susans because they lose space in the back.
It's always fun when you get a box of something that falls over and you can't get the thing to spin around.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. So we talked about sketch 1, of your wish list, where we talked about the slots and everything. I think we figured that out. We can just use the dividers and the shelves, and you can make that slot be exactly the way you want it, where you've got just a slot cabinet. It's kind of the same thing. You agree?
Yep.
Works for us.
And then again, changing it out for PLAM or acrylic or masonite, just change the material you're using by ignoring that and pulling it in. The next one that you've got, I'm not quite sure what that is. It looks like it's a drawer at the top, a drawer at the bottom, and 2 open cabinets in the middle. 2 open areas.
Yeah, it's like we've been seeing these a lot, like like corporate break rooms are doing these like microwave cabinets, kind of where they put like 4 microwaves in them. So basically, like a tall cabinet with a door in the upper part, open in the middle, and then like drawers on the bottom. So almost kind of like an oven cabinet, but like a tall microwave cabinet, something like that. And this, I guess, this seems like it's pretty complicated, so we don't have to tackle that today. But
Well, let's let the master look at it. What do you think, Dave?
Is it one of the drawings that you
Yeah,
had?
it's the last one on the
Last one.
list.
H2.
On the DOCO 44.
Door height. Okay. Is the drawer always? I guess I should say this. I know the answer is no, but if we build it, can we make the door and the drawer fixed height so that you're covered, if you will? Because I'm sure it would change slightly each time you saw it, but
yeah, I mean, I assume it's it's gonna. Well, this the one I said it's like an 8-footer, so I mean, sometimes they're 7 foot, sometimes they're 8 foot. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'll leave that up to you. Whatever you feel like doing.
let's do this. The drawer, I'm confident we could just make 12 inches tall, and it probably doesn't matter how tall the cabinet is. It's probably a decent height, we'll say. Yeah, I think I can come up with something because the open part's finished, right?
Yes.
Most likely, I would assume. Yeah, I'm gonna close all these just so we have a fresh thing. And I'm sure you'll be amazed, but just like last time, I'm just gonna grab something existing. It's what I tend to do 9 times out of 10, unless it's truly something that is totally different. So I'm gonna take this open tall cabinet so that I've got a finished interior and do a save as. And what would you call this?
Tall microwave, maybe. Or...
Okay. We'll say tall cab.
Or microwave tower.
2 drawer.
Tall microwave cabinet with drawer, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll put this, even though it's open, maybe it makes more sense in the regular talls. I'll leave that up to you. I'm not going to try and invent a code right now, but so this guy here, this is one of the reasons why I built things the way I did. So they're kind of modular, like I've said before, because it's kind of easy to just pull components together. So this is the the box of the cabinet. Don't have to change that. Same with the shelves. Divider we'll keep in there because we can make it just like at the one at the bottom in case you have 2 doors, 2 drawers. Same cabinet. We'll just change stuff. Toe kick, finish, all this stuff stays the same. The only thing we have to add in now are the drawer fronts and drawer boxes, and then we'll just size them accordingly. So I'm just going to come over here, and that's kind of the beauty of this is that's why I call them modules, if you will, because I could just come down here and we'll do the door first. I'm just going to grab regular, door regular, because it's just a regular door, if you will. And I'm just going to grab everything I need. So we need a drawer front for sure. Oops. Clicked it too many times. We'll put in the drawer front. And we'll also put in a drawer box. And just a regular drawer box. So we got our 3 components. And we just need one of each, at least in the top one, right? And just for fun, we'll default this to 24 inches wide. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4 fixed. So no adjustable. There could be. You can certainly add them in, but at least as a default, we'll say 4 fixed shelves. And then I'm going to come here and let's go find an existing formula and do a save as. I just grabbed this one. Save as. We'll call it door tall. upper micro, for lack of a better term. So the width, we want it to be the width of the product divided by quantity in case we have more than one door. We'll size them accordingly. And here's the fun part. So the height of the door, if that's an 8-foot cabinet, you get 8. And I guess since it's not listed, 30-inch tall door, I'd guess.
Kind of like a regular upper, yeah.
Let's just do that then. Like I said, make this kind of simple. There's lots of different ways we could dynamically size it if you wanted the opening to always be the same size and then it stretches the door, depending, or you just fix the door at a certain height.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we could do something like product height -4, -12 because it's a drawer, and then minus, say that you always want 36-inch opening. The door is just going to be the difference. It's kind of funny that sounded. It sounded like wrong answer.
I know, didn't it though? I thought, and I didn't jump this time.
It just occurred to me, it's like Family Feud when you say it wrong and they buzz you. But
No, that just means everyone in the shop gets to go home now.
Yeah, they always make me feel bad when I'm still training with them at this time, and it's like, okay, everyone gets to go, and we have to stay with you.
No, not at all.
I know, I'm teasing you.
Makes the afternoon go sort of quick.
I absolutely, these guys have been my Friday night, like last trainings of the week now for, I don't know, what are we going on, 4 or 5 weeks?
This is our 4th Friday.
Is it? Okay. And it's just, we have a blast. We like laugh, and if you guys were super crabby, it would be a really bummer last training of my week. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
it would. But we're excited. It's Friday. We got the weekend. We got paid today. You know, it's all good.
Yep.
He's going on a road trip.
I'm road tripping.
That's right. Everybody's leaving for a road
there you
trip.
go.
I got 22 hours on the highway this weekend.
Now, somebody said they were going
Between today and tomorrow
to Indiana next week. That's where Dave's at.
Yep.
I'll be driving through Indiana on my way to Ohio tonight. So
I'll be in Indiana on July 4th.
Ah.
Where are you going in Indiana?
I'm going to Plainfield.
I live in Avon, which is pretty much just north of Plainfield. I actually live. Usually, if I go do anything, it's in Plainfield because I live closer to Plainfield than where stuff's at in Avon.
Yep.
It's kind of funny.
And my son's in
Small
Carmel.
world.
I wish I was there with them, with you guys. Although I do like the weather here a lot better. Right now in the summer, it is so ungodly hot. But I must admit that when Dave tells me, Laura, it is snowing, he'll send me pictures of it snowing. My son sends me pictures, and I'm like, yeah, I wore a t-shirt today outside. It was 62. I'm good. So my little trade-off of a couple months of horrifying heat is worth that for the 4
I
months.
would rather have the heat than the cold.
Me too.
I like the snow. I just don't like the cold anymore.
Ugh. Yeah, see, I don't like the snow or the cold
Yeah,
anymore.
I don't like either of them.
There was a time I did when I was younger, but not anymore.
Yeah, me too. But living in north central Wisconsin for 20 some odd years,
Yeah.
you get that chill in your bones that just doesn't go away.
You moved to the Bahamas.
I'm getting my way there. Wisconsin to Iowa.
Yeah.
And just keep heading a little farther south every time.
Well, I'm all the way down in North Carolina now.
We should have Tamara come over and say hi.
Yeah, we have one of our telecommuters who lives in North Carolina.
Oh yeah, where?
Oh, it's a funky name. What is it?
It's some really weird.
It's like the weirdest name I've heard. It's like Rabbit Hollow, or it's like, I don't know.
My,
I don't know.
I don't think I know that.
It's not that.
It's hard to. It doesn't spell the way it sounds. There's
I'm gonna
something.
have to go.
Now Brian's got to go look it up. It's really weird.
Now I really want to know. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's one of our drafters.
And so
For our
she works
engineers.
remotely.
Yep.
The wayward one. That's right. The mic. So it's the wayward one. She's like.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the wayward one.
Yep. All right.
And then we have a project manager in Chicago.
Well, that's where I'm from. And I couldn't wait to leave.
I don't blame you.
So is that all done, Dave?
It's all done.
All right, so let's do our custom one-off. We had two of them. One is the keyboard shelf, and then I forget what the other one was. Was it just the keyboard shelf?
Intact surface.
Oh yeah, tax service. Let's do that. So we'll go to the estimate.
Okay, I think Dave still has the screen.
It's Buffetown.
Yeah, you should be able to click and take control.
It's what? Say it
Buffetown. Buffetown?
with an F?
P. P is like P and a few F's and the town at the end. On Chickasaw Drive.
Never heard of it.
They
What we
pass
find
under-
here, we have a lot of vills. We have a lot of tons. Like we have a town that's right next to me called Rutherfordton. It's like, could you not let it go with Rutherford or Rutherfordton? It's like, holy crap, 4 syllables for a city?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of syllables. All right, go to your estimate for me. We're going to create that custom one-off tack board. So just right-click on our 110, and we're going to create a brand new product. Remember, something doesn't exist. So add product, and we're going to call it tack board or whatever it is you'd like to call it.
What do you want to call it, Brian?
Tax surface.
Perfect. Okay. And we're going to go to our right and we're going to open up our library on the right and we're going to grab the materials that we want to be this item. Now, we could separate them out with labor and materials, but I think we're only going to have 4 items in there. So if it's go with you, I say we just pull it in that way.
Yeah, goes the fabric.
Okay.
So I just put 1?
Oh, yeah, because you want to do this by the lineal yard, right? Or lineal.
Lineal.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I have the material in this lineal yard. Is that going to mess it up for square foot price, or should we change that?
I mean, if ultimately you want to be able to just go in there and are you going to say it's how many lineal feet or are you going to say it's square foot?
Square foot.
Oh, crap. Dave, are you still here? We might need you for a formula.
Sure.
See, I thought it was going to be super easy. Dang it. All right, so go ahead and pull that in. We'll have him write us a quickie little formula.
Okay, so leave it lineal yard?
Yeah, because that's the way you buy it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to leave it the way you buy it.
Okay, so we need to go sheet goods.
Grab the board itself.
Let's see, miscellaneous, I think. I don't remember. It's
Is
the
it particle board or plywood?
mineral fiber. We need the mineral fiber board. That's what it tacks into, and then the thing below it too. I call it tack back. So that one and that one.
You want to do them both or just one?
Both of them, because the fiber board is stuff that tacks into.
Don't put a quantity in there just yet, and don't hit cancel or okay. Remember, you've got it set to batch, so you can just keep going. Just move it a little to your left so you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. And you just double click it when it's got it to the batch. And then let's grab our labor too.
I don't know what we call that.
I don't know.
Just
Custom marker.
Custom maybe again.
because we'll have to solve for X. We know we like to sell them for about $15 a square foot, so we'll have to tweak it.
All right. So again, since we're going to do it by it ultimately would be by the square foot, would it not?
Right.
Okay. So I guess we would put 1 and 1, and then how long you think it's going to take to do a square foot?
Bring it back or spray it.
Whoops.
8 months, probably. 8 to 10 months.
Start off with maybe call it, I don't know, like doing 0.2 maybe, 0.2.
So 0.2 is going to be less than 15, but more than 10. Is that okay? It'll be like
Yeah.
right in the middle of that. Okay. So click OK. All right. So now We definitely want to put a lineal foot on, or square foot on that unit of measure on our product row. So hit that little drop down where it says unit just next to the 1 and put in your square foot. Now we need
Just square foot.
that one.
No, just
It's the one.
right here.
Okay, and now we need Dave. Dave.
All
Great,
right.
all yours.
So they buy it by the lineal. Obviously, the material is both by the square footage. They want to be able to just come in and say, okay, there's 15 square feet of tack surface.
Yeah, we're a little high. We're
Sure.
$30 for. Let's see.
What's in the lineal yard 3 feet tall?
Yeah.
Or is it more than that? I know a yard's 3 feet wide, but how just trying to think how to figure.
A lineal yard. I mean, yeah, I guess
It
it's
depends if it's a 60 or 54 inch
a
wide.
square yard would be 9, but a linear yard, I'm thinking it's 1 foot by 3 foot. So I think you're right.
So we probably have 3 times as much material for 1 square foot as we need, right?
Yeah, that makes sense, right? Like a lineal, it's like a square yard would be 9. A lineal yard would be 1 foot by 3.
Let's think of it. Here's how I do stuff like this sometimes, because I used to work for a fast food fixture company where they built booths, and upholstery was that was a world to try and learn that is not normally me, but I don't know. I did stuff like this. Did you get another dialog box that popped up?
Yeah.
It's on the corner, on the
It's on
side.
we have it on the side of the, on the right side of our screen.
Oh, sorry. I was looking right at it, not. It's Friday, sorry. Aggregate quantity. That's what I want. This is what I would do, honestly. Kind of I don't know, I guess how do I explain this? If you look at the aggregate quantity, change this. How many square feet would you get a lineal yard? In other words, if you told me, hey, 3 square feet, we should get 1 lineal yard, then I would be like, there you go, an aggregate quantity equals 1 for every 3 square feet. You don't really need a formula per se, because since this is static, you just type in how many lineal yards there would be in a square foot. That makes sense to you.
Then we have to change the 4x8 square foot cost then.
This
No,
cost,
never mind. That's
no,
fine.
because it's still per lineal, $50 a lineal yard. It's just per square foot, you have 0.333 lineal yards. So when you get 3 square feet, you get 1
Lineal yard.
lineal yard.
Ice looks like it's getting closer. I mean,
So if you change that tack surface to a 1 at the bottom, would that not be the 1 square foot price then?
So this would be your 1 square foot price, yeah.
So you said $15 a square foot. We're at about $30 a square foot. So we're twice as high.
so I don't know if we change the labor down from to 0.1.
Is it the labor, or is it are we figuring that bid fabric incorrectly?
Yeah, because it's $50 a yard. So if this is your price per square foot, the biggest portion of it's the fabric right now.
So yeah, I'm thinking, isn't it 3 by 3 approximately?
Depends. Sometimes you can buy fabric in different
54.
heights.
Yeah, 54 and a 60.
I'm just making stuff up, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just having fun.
So that's closer, it's 17.
Oh, too much. Okay, so my point is, you know, obviously it could be scientific or it could be what I'm doing, but I would just adjust it to where you get what you want, but make sure the quantities make sense. Because, yeah, I mean, converting lineal yards to a square foot isn't the most easy, but that's kind of the little trick I would use.
Yeah, I like this. This seems the simplest. Especially since the other 2 things, the fiberboard and the plywood are both square foot. I guess we could Google that. I almost said a swear word. We have a saying here.
Well, yeah, I like Google. You can type it. It does millimeter conversions if you type in millimeter conversions.
Yeah, let's see. 1 lineal yard equals how many square feet? 1 square yard equals 9 square feet. 1 yard, lineal yard, equals 3 linear feet. So I think it's 9. 1 square yard equals 9 square feet.
Right.
So we would take 1 divided by 9 to come up with our number, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good to me.
Does that sound logical?
Yep.
0.11, 2.
Okay. So
I guess-
put that in there up top, Dave. 0.112.
I guess.
Actually, you got it at 1.2 right now, and it's at $18. You feel comfortable with that, or would you
Oh,
rather?
maybe make the labor like 0.15 as well.
There you go.
All right, there you go. 15 cents.
Yep, that works.
Good
Okay.
stuff for government work. Save that. back.
Dave, we're done.
All right, and we had one more, which was our keyboard. I was all confident about how to do that there, and I just got all messed up. So let's do our keyboard tray. So we're going to do kind of the same thing. Oh, actually, let's finish this off. So we've created this, but it's actually not a true assembly yet. So we'll right-click on that description that we did in the center, nope, in the middle, and choose Create New Assembly.
Okay.
And we'll go ahead. It's called Text Surface. Where would you like to put it? What category?
Let's see. I guess where would be good? We have miscellaneous.
No, we don't.
Can we make a category?
You
Or?
can absolutely make one. So click Define to your right.
Oh, now we got to think of something what we'd call it.
Tax surface.
Okay, well, I don't know if we want to put. I don't know.
Oh, that's simplistic. Tax Surface.
Okay.
Yeah, it's,
Because then you're going to make, you have two others you wanted to make with different materials in them, right?
Right, and yeah, we could play around with those. And come up
So I would
with
say rename this Tax Surface Fabric, and then you've got a Tax Surface that were other things, and you'll just, again, reuse this one.
Tax surface.
No, right now this
okay.
is the assembly category.
Yep, and click OK. And now hit the drop down, and you should see it.
Woo. And then this
And
would
I
be
would call
tax
this Tax Surface Material Fabric, exactly. Click OK.
Created code.
You don't have to. If you want to, you can. Okay, and it's going to open it up here. Maybe call that description in the center Tax Surface Fabric as well.
Ooh.
She's making new words up. All right, and go ahead and click the Save button. And so now you can make a copy of this one, rename it, pull out the material that is the fabric, and pull in the other 2 different kinds of tax surface. So
Okay.
just rename them so you have 3 different ones. And again, if they take more time, obviously play with that particular item, the time thing.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have to do the keyboard. We'll give ourselves our own homework assignment. We'll do the keyboard and you can review it.
Rock on. All right. All right, guys. Well, this has been super enlightening. I feel like I even learned stuff today, which always makes my day.
Okay, so now I do have to ask, where are we at with our training hours?
Oh, sure. Let me take a quickie look.
Because I know they all haven't been the full 2 hours, so I don't.
Yeah, nope, that's okay. Let me look. Horizon Group. So yeah, our last one that we did the other day was only an hour and a quarter.
Mhm.
So you were down to 6 hours when we began today.
Okay.
And so we've done an hour and 45 minutes today. So you're at 4 hours and 25 minutes.
Okay, so Tuesday at 1 and
Yeah, and we will get back to fun learning stuff because, yeah, this stuff freaks me out. So I'm always happy when I've got that backer of Mr. Mash there in the background for me.
And then do we want to do Friday again at 2 o'clock as well?
Yeah, let's leave it on the calendar. And then after we do our session on Tuesday, if you guys say, hey, you know what, we want to take a week off. We want to kind of get our bearings. Pardon?
It's on vacation the following week, and it's a holiday week, so.
All right, so yeah, so let's definitely do Tuesday, Friday then, and then
Yep.
maybe the following week you'll say, hey, let's take a week off,
Yep.
and we'll go from there. I actually am going to be off for a week, so at some point, you know, Dave and I will talk and we'll see how you guys are at. And maybe we'll throw him back in if he can grab a session here or there. But we're definitely going to start to dwindle down a bit because obviously now you're going to want to do things like grab a real quote. And we can certainly do that together. You guys can grab a real quote and do it. But honestly, you're all very advanced. Obviously, the fact that you're even pulling things and making changes the way you are is fantastic. So,
in other words, grab a real quote, do it in Prime 6400.
yeah. You know, do you want me to sit and watch you do that? Probably we don't have to do it that way. I certainly can, but I feel confident that you guys are pretty good at this. So you could do that as a homework assignment as well, and we can then look it over. Because as you start doing it, you'll have questions.
Right.
Yeah, one thing I was going to see if possibly one of the sessions we could have you take control and almost like do a blind estimate where we're telling you what to do. And then you're kind of doing it, so you know exactly how to do it. But I would do it this way, and you know, just to kind of.
Yeah, I'll watch you do that, and I'll tell you that. But I'm not taking control of your computer. You will not learn if I do it.
Nope.
I guarantee you. And just even watching Dave do those formulas like that, I'm here to tell you, when he and I are working on a database, he makes me do them. So because me watching it is great. I've watched him do that so many times, but it still freaks me out because he does it fast and it's just knowledge that I swear someday I'm going to have it, but I don't know. He's just super, super good at that. So sometimes
I'm that way with Excel formulas. As far as your VLOOKUPs and all this other stuff that you do in Excel, but he's doing more of the access type, which I never really learned, and product assembly and blah 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 blah.
Well, there you go. So yeah, let's we'll reconvene on Tuesday then. Okay.
Okay, sounds great. You guys have a good weekend. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
Drive safe.
See you later.
Bye.